Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing a bunch of college football teams right now with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com in late June. And that is all Steve does all year long. And right now we're going to take a look at Texas A&M. Steve, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me back, Peter.
All right, before we get into Texas A&M, first post Johny Manziel year, give a quick plug for collegefootballwinning.com and brag a little bit about how well you've done these past few years.
I would be happy to. Thank you, Peter. At collegefootballwinning.com, all we do is college football betting analysis 365 days out of the year. I think we're the only such service that offers a 100% money-back guarantee on the entire season. Last year, our against the spread winning rate for our formula, and our formula is what we call our algorithmic betting selections. We're a company that's founded on making betting selections algorithmically, beat the spread at a rate of 66.18%. Overall, so our lifetime with the formula, those betting selections is 63.04% against the spread. So if people want to join us, and we hope that they do, go to collegefootballwinning.com, put in coupon code SBR10, that's SBR10, and you'll get 10% off of any membership that we're currently offering.
All right, Texas A&M, first year post Johny Manziel, and that makes me think, probably they're going to have a little bit of betting value, but perhaps not, because to start the year, their futures odds to win the national title are about 70-1, which puts them ranked in the low 20s. Last year, they were a pretty poor bet, 5-8 against the spread, despite being 9-4 straight up. They were 9-4 over under. So, what do you think we can expect from Texas A&M the upcoming year?
Okay, well, since this is a betting preview for Texas A&M, we're looking at their season against the spread considerations and their national championship futures. So let's talk about expectations for a minute. As you know, Peter, we've talked about this before, and you know this independent of me. Betting lines are driven by expectations. So last year on this very show, when we were previewing Texas A&M of 2013 in the offseason, I was talking about it. There's too much hype for Johnny football, who was Johnny Heisman. They had the fourth shortest BCS national championship odds, yet they had the fewest returning starters in the SEC. So I was talking about they're going to be a bad bet against the spread for the season, and this was not going to be a good national championship futures bet, all based on expectations. And sure enough, that ended up being true for 2013. Now, 2014, you already said, post Johnny football, post Johny Manziel, so he's gone. So the public opinion is they think this is a rebuilding year, but Aggie fans know maybe better than anyone else, and bettors, they know that freshman quarterbacks have the potential to surprise because they're unknown quantities. So should freshman quarterback Kyle Allen, who is the #1 rated pro-style quarterback coming out of high school, he enrolled early, so he's already had a spring at Texas A&M. Should he start? That could be terrific for college football bettors who are backing Texas A&M. So consider the against the spread results for the past 6 years of teams with freshman All-American quarterbacks, so great freshman quarterbacks. Against the spread, they're 52-26. That means they've beaten the spread the last 6 years 2/3 of the time. And no team with those freshman All-American quarterbacks had a losing against the spread season in the last 6 years. That's really saying something. So that's what Texas A&M has going for them from the betting perspective. Now, here's what you and I talked about, an article that I wrote on SBR called Conditions for Profitable College Football Betting. When you're looking at a team's overall prospects for the season against the spread, there's three things you want. #1, you want that team to be unranked by the preseason polls, namely the AP. And case in point, with Texas A&M, the last 11 years, when Texas A&M was ranked, that was 5 times in the last 11 years in the preseason in the AP poll, they finished 36.67% against the spread. That is terrible. Now, when they were not ranked in the AP poll the last 11 years, but they were getting some preseason AP votes, so they didn't get in the top 25. But the way I read into that, they still had some talent, but they were off the radar. That happened in 4 of the last 11 years. They were combined 63.27% against the spread. So super important for Texas A&M, if you're thinking about their against the spread season considerations, to be unranked but get some AP voting. So it is quite possible that Texas A&M will be unranked in the 2014 AP preseason poll. After all, most of the major college football publications they have Texas A&M unranked in the top 25. So if they are ranked, they should be near the bottom. And any way you slice it, it's a significant drop from last year's preseason number 7 ranking. Second principle that we're looking for in the offseason. We want that team to have been unprofitable against the spread the prior season. Texas A&M, definitely unprofitable, 5-8 against the spread in 2013. So that's something going for them in 2014. And number 3, increase their straight-up wins from the prior season. The last 10 seasons, every single time Texas A&M increased their straight-up wins from the prior season, they were profitable against the spread. And conversely, or at the same time, every single time that Texas A&M had a decrease in their straight-up wins from the prior season, they were unprofitable. 2013, Texas A&M had 9 straight-up wins. So what are we looking for? They need to exceed 9 straight-up wins if they're going to be profitable. These guys open at South Carolina. So a young team opening at South Carolina. They have to play away at Mississippi State, a very experienced Mississippi State team. They have to play away at Alabama, away at Auburn, and then they finish with LSU. I think that's just too tough for Texas A&M to come away with more than 9 wins. Now, on the other hand, or looking positively, if Texas A&M can manage to beat South Carolina in that August opener, and already 5 Dimes, the sportsbook, has them as 12-point underdogs in that game. If they can find a way to beat them straight up, then there's a realistic chance for them to get to 9 straight-up wins. But to be profitable, history says they have to exceed 9 straight-up wins. That's just too difficult for them. If, however, this young Aggie offense loses convincingly early, so this is another scenario, but they improve steadily because they have, after South Carolina, a marquee game, they play Lamar, Rice, SMU, Arkansas. All those games are way off the radar. So they can be quietly improving while everyone thought, that they throw them away after seeing a bad loss to South Carolina. If that somewhat experienced defense makes the achievement leap that I think possible for that defense, then there could be good money to be made later in the season on Texas A&M, especially when they're playing against some of those tougher teams. But until then, it is important to note the starting quarterback and to see if it's that freshman, and look at that South Carolina opener. We think that's going to tell us a lot. So, futures betting. 2015, the College Football National Championship that is going to take place in the year 2015, that's going to be determined by playing off 4 teams chosen by 13 people. That's the most subjective method of determining the 4 best teams since before the BCS. Since that process is so new and so subjective, we're recommending the most conservative approach to all national championship futures betting this season. So we're not going to have a futures bet on Texas A&M. Some facts about Texas A&M under Kevin Sumlin. They're just 28.57% against the spread when the spread is less than a touchdown. So that means in competitive games, they do not do well against the spread under Kevin Sumlin. Line movement. And by that, we mean the difference between the opening number and the closing betting line. Under Kevin Sumlin, the line movement has indicated the wrong side 2/3 of the time in away games. So don't look for that to be any indicator. It's actually a counter indicator. Reverse line movement, usually an indicator of where the sharp money has gone when it opposes the majority of the public bets. The reverse line movement side has been wrong in all but one of Texas A&M's games under Kevin Sumlin. So reverse line movement is not telling you the right side when it comes to Texas A&M, at least not under Kevin Sumlin. Our conclusion, money's not going to be on Texas A&M for a national championship futures bet, and watch who that starting quarterback is going to be, and then watch that South Carolina opener, and that should give you some indicator of the way their against the spread season could go.
All right, sounds great, Steve. Thanks so much for all your insights, and we'll talk to you again very soon.